What's up, everyone? This is Tatum. I'm back with another episode of Fuck This Review, where today I'm continuing my Pink Floyd journey down, their discography. And today we're on Pink Floyd's Animals. This album is their 10th album, which is crazy. Like, to be 10 albums in and still making great music is fucking insane and deserves like a, what do you call it, a hat tilt. The album came out in 1977, and it was inspired by, let me get his name right, George Orwell's political fable called Animal Farm. And I was doing a little bit of just a little research on it. I didn't go so far back, but to read the book and shit, just to do a Pink Floyd review. But the album, the book was, let me see, it came out in 1945, and it tells a story of a group of farm animals who rebelled against their human farmer and hoping to create a society where animals can be equal, free, and happy. But ultimately, it just turned into the same kind of dictatorship in a ways. Let me see, it was end up under the dictatorship of a pig named Napoleon, which is ironic. Napoleon complex, blah blah blah. Which is I guess that's a crazy that's a crazy story to, like, let's do an album about that. The album is only 5 tracks. I think it's almost an hour long, similar to their previous album where they had some tracks are 17 minutes, some tracks are 11 minutes, some tracks are 1 minute and something seconds. And again, if you saw my last Pink Floyd review, that's very, I'm going to say more in my recap, but it's very honorable that they, just were so creative with their art and exceeded limits like that and making songs these lengths and subject matters. And this is probably their 3rd straight concept album in a row. And yes, I will be doing Walls next, but it's gonna take me a little bit more time to digest all that music. That album is like hour and 30 minutes long. It's like I can barely sit through an hour and 30 long movie. So for those that know me, this movie's longer than 30 minutes. But let's get into the album. I heard it was some tension in the band during the making of this album. For those Pink Floyd fans who know more about that, let me know in the comments. I want to know all the tea, what was going on, what was the friction, what was that all about. And it led to one of the band members, like, I would say, being fired a couple years later. So let me know what the hell happened with that. Again, the album is only 5 records. We go to Pigs on the Wing Part 1, Dogs, Pigs, Sheep, and then Pigs on the Wing Part 2. And the album's called Animals, obviously. It makes sense when you go by the title tracks. And I always thought it was dope. I'm going to elaborate more and go song by song, but I thought it was dope that just the concept was dope to me. Like, just to take dogs and make it this song about what it's about, or sheep, and at the beginning of every song or somewhere in the song they have like a representation of that animal. So you hear dog bark, or you hear sheep, or like a cattle or sheep, or you hear pigs oinking. Is that what you call it? Oinking? I never used that word like that. Squealing? Oink, oink, oink. Or is that just a onomatopoeia? Sidebar. I'm just riffing here. But let's get into the album. So the album starts with Pigs on the Wing Part 1. And honestly, it might be the lightest, quote unquote, song on the whole album. It was written, It was written by Roger Waters, who pretty much wrote majority of their stuff, what it seems like me doing these reviews. And it was dedicated to his wife at the time. And it's a line in there. It's barely any lyrics on it, but he says, if you didn't care what happened to me, and I didn't care what happened to you, we would zigzag our way through the boredom and pain, occasionally glancing through the rain, wondering which of the buggers to blame, and watching for the pigs on the wing. And that's pretty much the only verse on the record. But I just love the whole aura of that record. Like I said, it's one of the lightest records on the album to me, and that's still a quote unquote, but it was a good way to just ease into this concept album. I wonder still, like, when this album came out in 77, like, how were people taking it in? Like, how was it digest? Like, those kind of things. Always wonder with classic music and older music, like, how was this digest? You get this one song and then the next song is like 17 minutes. How did you sit there and, like, how did you just digest it? You know what I mean? Pink Floyd fans as well, you can let me know in the comments. But I really enjoyed that intro. It was a good way to just ease into the album and let me know what was kind of going on. And it's a great love song, and great. I would say, what is that, a haiku? Because it's so short. Like, to his wife, I thought that was dope, and the way he concluded it with the way they concluded it with the last verse. I mean, the last song also was like the tie-in to that. I thought that was amazing as well. The next song is Dogs, and to me, listening to it, it's kind of like a story of life. Like, it talks about corporate America. Well, I'm gonna just say corporate America because I live in America. Let's just say corporate and success and people with suits and things they do to reach these higher stakes in companies and life and business, and the people they backstab, and the people they step over, the people they make rich and themselves they make rich. It's just all that accumulated in this one record. Like, you work so hard to get up to these companies, and at the end, it's was it all worth it? Like, that's what I got from it. Couple of lyrics in it. You got to be crazy. You got to have a real need. You got to sleep on your toes and when you're on the streets. You got to be able to pick out the easy meat when your eyes are closed. And then moving in silently down when and out of sight. You got to strike when the moment is right without thinking. And after a while, you could work on points of style, like a club tie and a firm handshake, a certain look in the eye and an easy smile. You have to be trusted by people that you lied to, so that when you turn their backs on you, you'll get a chance to put the knife in. And I was like, Jesus Christ, this is like, so again, it just straightforward with the corporate, pretty much what the title is, Dogs. Like, just savage mentality of stepping on the next man and faking a smile and using these little trick ploys to get what you need out of life, and just to get to the top of the pyramid or the top of the chain. And, like, once you get to that spot of, let's say it's a law firm or something like that, once you get to that top spot, it's always the person under you who it's always another you. Like, the rotation is never ending. So once you fought so hard to get to the top, it's somebody else is just as hungry as you. Because once you get to the top, you lose that hunger, right? So, like, in the song, he talks about, like, you got to be able to look over your shoulder. You gotta watch out for, for lack of a better word, the predators who's gonna come and take your spot, just like you did the old guy spot you took. So I thought it was a great record. And then, with all that being said, is like, when it's all said and done, you're gonna move down south, and, like, in the United States, our thing is like. Not our thing. I don't know if that's still prevalent now, but growing up, it was always like you retire and you move to Florida. Like, so he has a line like, when it's all said and done, you move down south in the old folks retirement home kind of thing, and then you die of cancer. like he literally just says, and you die of cancer, and you're buried all alone. Like, where was your family? Does your family really love you? Where were all the corporate friends you met on your way up and way down that you know? Where was your camaraderie? Where was the actual love? Did you take time to love anyone? Like, or were you just so savage in your methods that you just, climbed your way to the top savagely, like, for lack of a better word? So I just really love the vibe of that record. Far as music wise of the song, that acoustic and electric guitar with the synths, again, going through this Pink Floyd discography, their synth game is just ridiculous. And that electric guitar on a solo, when the instrumental just starts playing, it just tells a story in itself. And I just appreciate that, just from an artist standpoint. And that beat switch around, what was it, probably like 8 minutes, I thought was amazing too. And that synth just goes crazy. So that's Dogs. I appreciate that record. It's a very complex record, if you like. It's deeper than the eye could see kind of record. But that goes into pigs, three different ones, and the song starts with like a pig sound, like oinking and shit. Contrast with the synths and the melodies on there is just amazing as well. And with the guitar with it sounds amazing. The song falls into like this groovy rock record that I just really like the vibe of it. It's one of my standouts on here. It's only 5 records on here, so me saying the standout is kind of nuts. I love the vocal effect they had on there. I like the breakdown of the instrumental when he says like, "You're nearly a laugh, but you're really a cry." I really like that breakdown part on there. I had to rewind that back a couple of times just to when I hear great parts in music, even if it's like for 3 seconds. I rewind it back just to, wow, that was really amazing. That had to be hard to do when you had vinyls. How I could just like zoop, go back 3 seconds when they had to like, oh, that part was great, but they had to yeah, funny. And the pigs represent, Roger Waters said it considered the top of the social ladder, the ones with wealth and power, who also manipulate the rest of society and encourage them to be viciously competitive, cutthroat, so the pigs can remain powerful. And it's a great record to follow dogs. Like it, where you get the eye of the person in the corporate ladder, right? And then this song, you get the person on the outside looking at the person in the corporate ladder who using their power for wrong and using your power to manipulate and using your power just to use power in a way. And you're not really helping anyone. You're just destroying people. It's sort of like same stuff we go through now. The rich get rich, the poor get poor. Nobody even wants to help. We're going through the shit in the U.S. with the stimulus shit. Like, nobody wants to really help the citizens of America, but we want to open shit back up. And yeah, so it's always, I think that's always going to be prevalent in society, period. I'm happy they touched on that. And I appreciate them touching on that. And it was a misinterpretation in the U.S. because they say they used like White House, right? And because of the White House line. And my first listen, I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. They're touching on American culture and they're talking about the stuff that's going on in America. Like, I even saw it that way. And it wasn't about American culture or White House at all. It was actually about morality campaigner named Mary Whitehouse. And she was like on this, like, from what I read, for lack of a better word, she was like really like with BBC. She was like trying to censor a bunch of music and stuff like that was she considered anti-church. So she was really pushing this God kind of thing and was going against bands, Beatles as well. I think she did something with she wanted to ban the, what song was it? I'm the Walrus, I believe, because when John Lennon says, man, you been a naughty girl, you let your knickers down. Like, she felt that was just inappropriate and off the wall, so she tried to ban that as well. And it's dope that Pink Floyd like went straight at her. It kind of reminds me, just to bring into my culture a bit, it reminds me of like Tupac when he's like, Bill Clinton, Mr. Bob Dole, you too old to understand the way the game's told, or something like that, or to see Lord Tucker, or it just reminds me of that. I love when artists are just gives the FU to the politics and people who just don't understand, or who do understand, are looking to capitalize off a moment. You know what I mean? Because leading to the next song, it's a lot of sheep. So you can easily get people to follow things. It's easy to get people to follow things. The song itself, it also reminds me of some John Lennon stuff, especially the part where Shirai you are, like Shirai you are, like that part really reminded me of like some George Harrison, John Lennon stuff that I would hear in the Beatles all the time. I really enjoyed the vocal effect that sounded like a harmonica and also sounded like a pig in a way. This is the way I interpret it, but it sounded like a vocal effect that sounded like a harmonica to me. Another dope record. That goes into Sheep, which was originally titled Raving and Drooling. I really like that piano intro. It tells a story in itself. Again, from listening to all the not all, from listening to, this is my third Pink Floyd album, listened to in their discography, and a lot of the records are instrumental, so their instruments have to tell a story in itself. And again, it's something I know I keep reiterating that, but it's something I really do appreciate because we don't really have that anymore. So I always tip my hat to that. It's in the starter song with harmlessly passing your time in a grassland away, only dimly aware of the certain unease in the air. I was like, God damn, y'all like, like you're really writing. Like, yeah, that's like, you know, because it's about sheep. And the song itself, obviously, it's about people who just follow unwillingly uh, anything. What's the Andre line? Speeches only reaches those who already know about it. So like it's easy to get people to follow anything, like anything. So I thought it was a great record just to follow dogs and pigs and what else is left? Sheep. So and I forgot even the cover. This is gonna be funny to everyone, but I didn't even notice it took me a long time to even notice the pig on the album cover, like because nowadays we have just our phones, right? So the album cover is probably like this big, and it's really hard to see the details of certain album covers. And to tell you the truth, I literally just seen the pig on the album cover. Don't shoot me down, but it was just a fun thing. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. It was a pig floating in the air between the warehouses, so I thought that was cool. Random sidebar. I love the way the last word stretches out. Like he'll be singing, and then like the last word he gets to, he stretches the word out. But the synth that comes in around 5:39, I thought was dope. It added like this eerie horror kind of vibe to the record. I just thought that was pretty cool. I love the robotic voice as he says the prayer, and then it comes right back to the third verse, and he says, "Wave upon wave of demented Avengers march cheerfully out of obscurity into the dream." I was like, what the? These lyrics are so cool, bro. and then it faded out for like a whole minute. Like it just to leave you, I guess, like jaw dropped and let you sink that in. And officially, that's kind of like the last song. We go into Pigs on the Wing Part 2. And, like I said, it kind of closes up the first record where he says, I know that I care what happens to you, and I know that you care for me too. So don't feel alone or the weight of the stone. So now that I found somewhere that's safe to bury my bones, and any fool knows a dog needs his home, a shelter for pigs on the wing. And I just thought, because the first part you could take it as that's what she's saying to him, and then the second part you could say that's what he's saying to her, or vice versa. So I just thought that was cool to just to break that song up and have that part there, and then have it ended as well, just to close out this album of animals of society. Let's get into my best songs. Again, if you saw my last Pink Floyd review where it was only 5 songs, I'm not gonna pick 3, which I usually do, because it'll kind of be. It's kind of pointless with 5 songs. So I'm going to just go choose one for each. So best song, I'm going to go with Dogs. That's just me. I love that song. I love the whole corporate idea. I love the beat. I love everything about that record. Worst song, I'm going to go with Sheep. Nothing wrong with the record. It's just that, I don't know. I heard a song about sheep people before. Like in 2021, I heard that theme used before. And there's still nothing wrong with the record. But compared to everything else. Best line, you got to keep one eye looking over your shoulder. It's going to get harder and harder and harder as you get older. Yeah, in the end, you'll pack up and fly down south, hide your head in the sand, just another sad old man, alone and dying of cancer. He didn't round the last word. He was just like, alone and dying of cancer. Yeah, that was one of the standouts to me, as I mentioned before, with the flying down south and dying of cancer part. Rating, how many fucks given? I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5. 3.84 out of 5. Yeah, for reasons I'll explain in my recap. But let's close this shit out. When it comes to Pink Floyd's The Animals, or Animals, I enjoyed this album. I really did. I really enjoyed this album. I thought, again, they haven't missed yet with the albums I've been listening to. This is my third one. The next one's going to be Wall. So just look out for that one. Just give me a little bit more time to digest it and kind of dissect it a bit. It's 2 discs. It's an hour and 30 minutes. But as far as Animals, cool album, man. Again, I appreciate them just taking artistic risk and just pushing the limits a bit. Like from what I've been hearing, that's what they probably known to do. I love the concept of this album, just painting a picture of society and corporate America and love and people in power against people in lower power and people who follow aimlessly for no reason and don't think for themselves. I love the whole concept of just the outview of society. If I had a critique, my only thing is, like, I don't really need a 17-minute song. I think they could have Obviously, this is in retrospect, and it doesn't matter. But so like, and you don't need I didn't need a 17-minute song to get the point across. They could have hit every one of those moments in, just 4 minutes, 5 minutes. Like, you could get that done. Even 10 minutes. Like, you can get that done. A 17-minute song is kind of just too, like, it's too long. Like, that's almost 20 minutes of one song. So maybe during it live, the audience reacted to it different. But I would love to hear people responses to it. Just the fans, like, when you listen to it, do you still listen to the whole 17 minutes of records, or 10 or 11 minutes of records, or would you too just, I get it, like, or your first time hearing it, was it like, this is too long? How was it perceived? I know the album got like critically acclaimed and sold well, but how did you feel as a fan? But that's pretty much my only critique. Again, I still enjoyed the album from top to bottom. It's only 5 records, so I can't complain that much. As always, fuck this review. I'm Tatum. Peace. Watch out for them goddamn animals. They're out here. Sheeps, dogs, pigs in disguise and shit. Yeah, that's it. Peace.